Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of TBoD Extra Points, or EXP as we're calling it. I don't know whether to go with the acronym or the full name. Maybe the acronym on the video and the full name when we're... I don't really know.
Maybe just EXP.
Yeah.
EXP.
Welcome to TBoD EXP, everybody. Episode 3. As you can see, new t-shirt, new hoodie, new day of recording, of course. It's totally a new day. And we've got another topic to discuss today, and this one revolves around one of Eremenko's much beloved video game series and a little bit of a kind of news rumour that's been floating around as of late. The game series, of course, is The Legend of Zelda, Zelda being the guy with the sword.
That's him.
Yep. And recently we've heard via the Wall Street Journal from a source that knows that for those audio listeners, I did the raised
quotation marks.
Quotation marks. That's it. I don't even know the name of them. But yes, apparently Netflix and Nintendo are in early talks to make a Legend of Zelda TV series. It's like okay, so that was your very first impression. We'll delve deeper into that in just a second, but essentially what seems to be the brief for this is it's live action, and they want to make a Game of Thrones which is kind of suitable for a family audience. So it's kind of a contradictory statement there for starters.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, family audience, not quite, but still, I get the idea. I wanted to speak to you about this because you are our resident Zelda expert. You've just been given that label now, so run with it.
What a big responsibility to live up to.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, my initial thought was somewhat different to the reaction that I gave you just there. My initial thought was, holy fuck, this is going to be awesome. I love Zelda. I can't wait to see it on the big screen. It's going to be so cool. And then I thought about it a little bit, and I thought, oh, well, hold on a second. Link's the main protagonist of the Zelda series, you know, the princess.
Oh, yeah.
So Link, the main character in The Legend of Zelda.
Zelda expert, right.
Doesn't speak. Like, aside from going, and yeah! I think he occasionally says one or two words.
I'm sure they might get Cassette Boy on the case and he might be able to make those into sentences.
It's definitely a possibility. But for this, I mean, that was what Pandit said to me anyway when we were talking about this. She was like, well, Link can't speak. He's not allowed to speak in the whole series. So it's going to be really alien.
Well, I'm a Zelda noob.
But he doesn't. It's not in the lore or anything, but he doesn't speak. Like, sure. He has conversations with people, but you never hear him say anything. And I guess that's part of the mystery around him, and the fact that it's trying to engross you as the player character rather than hearing a voice. And, you know, as a Commander Shepard speaking or whatever, you know, you get taken out of it a little bit when he doesn't say what you want him to say. So you are Link, and Link never says anything. And for any of the Zelda games, you know, there's no, well, obviously there's a voice actor making the noises, but there's no actual dialogue from him.
Sure.
So for them to go and make a TV series out of that, how are they going to handle it? Obviously, there was the animated series Zelda. I don't know if you remember that from when we were kids in the mid '80s. They made a Legend of Zelda cartoon.
Sorry, I literally have. That's why we're sat so far apart, so he doesn't punch me at this stage. But I have literally never had any interest in Zelda games.
That's okay, but I thought maybe
never grabbed me, you know.
I thought you'd maybe watch the TV series when you were a kid, because that was like, I don't think I'd played the games before I saw the TV series. So watching that series as a kid was like, oh, this is really cool, and that sort of turned me on to the games in a way.
Okay,
but actually, it wasn't really cool. Like Link had this really weird sort of cocky American accent. You might have seen, like, there's memes and stuff about it, because he had this. It was only 22 episodes or something, but he has this famous line where he's like, well, excuse me, princess. And, you know, he's got this sort of it's just
that's
completely
flash up on the screen when you edit it. I'm just making work for you here.
Thanks, I look forward to it. It's completely unfitting for the entire series of Zelda, you know, because he's this non-speaking quiet hero, and it kind of works as a cartoon, but for them to make a live action series, it's going to be really, really difficult. And what Zelda universe are they going to set it in? The timeline of Zelda is just so fucked up. It's all over the place. I've looked at these, people have put together timelines, and various games fall into various different sections. So like Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess are in the dark timeline, and then there's the timeline where there is no hero, and obviously Link Between Worlds crosses the two timelines.
Yeah,
because it's got Hyrule and Lorule, like the dark side and the light side and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, what story do you think they're going to tell here? Well,
I mean, they're going to come up with something entirely new.
All in all,
do you think they'll pull something from the game?
The most important story, the overlying story of all of the Zelda games is
save the princess.
Well, it isn't. It's not, because the princess regularly saves herself.
Because
like she doesn't always need Zelda, saving.
It's essentially the same story as Mario, save the princess.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but yeah, I know where you're coming from. And the overlying story of the Zelda franchise is, for me anyway, it's about Link overcoming everything in order to save a friendship, or to save the people that he loves, sort of thing. And that's what it's about. And that in itself is the oldest story ever told. The knight saving the princess, as you say. The hero saving the world, and a coming of age story, I guess. And what are they going to do? Are they going to start it with young Link? Are they going to start it with teen Link? Because obviously there's so many different iterations of the main hero.
I'm riveted here.
It's
the young Link and teen Link. It's like Teen Wolf.
Yeah, it's like Teen Wolf. Maybe they'll do Ocarina of Time, and he'll be able to switch between the two generations.
Role
he might play someone. He could be in it.
I heard he said no.
Oh, what a shame. So yeah, I mean, I'm apprehensive but excited. So it's one of those weird ones, nerve-sighted, I guess, nervous and excited about it. I think the potential is there for them to create something really special. I'm just concerned about how they'll do it and from what angle they'll approach the story. If they would they be bold enough to make a TV series where they had a silent protagonist?
Oh, I don't know. That's an interesting one.
If you want to watch a live action version,
Netflix are pretty bold.
Yeah, they are. They do make some moves.
The thing is, I mean, me as a absolute Zelda novice, but as a guy who's watched a lot of Netflix. Netflix, when they make an original series, they get the right dudes on board. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at stuff like House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, these series they're award-winning, and they get great kind of talent on board, whether it be the actors, the crew, or directors, whatever. And so they could make a decent go of it. It's just whether they get the source material right, I guess. Whether it's going to be true to the games or goes off on a different kind of direction. I don't really know.
I'd love to see a physically imagined version of Hyrule. That's a super exciting idea.
Yeah.
Just to see the setting of it in itself would be amazing. To see it realized in the way that whoever it is that does Game of Thrones has realized that universe. Yeah. Because that's a thrill for a fan of anything. I mean, obviously we have seen Hyrule in various iterations. We do know what it looks like. It's not like they're creating something from scratch out of the book, which in many ways is more difficult because they don't have source material to go from when you're creating something from a book. You've got to try and create something that's in someone's imagination, which is so hard. Whereas with obviously Legend of Zelda, they've got thousands of hours of gameplay reference to go to see, what Hyrule Castle looks like, what Hyrule Town looks like, what the fields look like, what the Goron place looks like, and all that. So that task would be a little bit easier, but realizing the characters, I mean, video games to movies, and that transition is always an incredibly difficult thing to pull off. And I hope they do it, but I don't think they will do it justice, personally.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much for your views on that there, Eremenko.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you very much for listening /watching Teabag or Diehards. We will be back with another one of these very soon. Let us know in the comments below this video, or send us a tweet at TBoD or Die, or however you want to get in touch with us. Let us know what you think about Zelda coming to Netflix potentially. Let us know what your thoughts are. Are you excited? Are you worried? Bit of both. We want to hear from you.
I can at least bet that it starts with Link waking up, because every single game does.
What if it didn't? Would you be gutted?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, on that note, we shall leave it there. Thank you very much, and stay hydrated.
Goodbye.